Greetings from the CM Russell Museum, and welcome to another installment of the 2020 Art in Action Artist Showcase. I'm Executive Director Tom Figarelle. Always, we want to recognize our sponsor for Art in Action, D.A. Davidson Companies, for their support of this event, as well as for all of their support to our educational programming at the CM Russell Museum. Thanks to them and their generosity, we're able to advance the art and soul of the American West. As many of you know, we have to change our approach to Art in Action and to all of our auction events around the Russell exhibition and sale to maintain good social distancing and to try to navigate this big event given the constraints that we have with the COVID-19 pandemic. So these artist showcases are a way for you to connect to the artists, hear from them directly, how things are going in their world, what creative focuses they have right now, and still have a little bit of that interaction, though from a considerable distance, obviously. We're joined today by artist Randy Van Beek. Randy, thanks for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well,
good to be here remotely.
Yes, exactly. From a distance, but
Yep.
you know, how are you doing? I mean, given everything going on in the world today, how are you guys hanging in there?
We're doing well. Our social circle, our families are all safe and healthy. Our work habits have been, we've worked at home, my wife and I both, for more than 40 years. So my wife makes jewelry, and so our work continued. There was a bit of a stall when this all hit and the Russell show was canceled. That's always such a highlight of my year. I walked in circles for a couple of days, but I had a show simultaneously at the Briscoe Museum in San Antonio, and they sold every piece of mine. So that gave me early confidence that things will continue, and they have. So it's been a strange chapter, but good in a lot of ways too. We've had grandkids more.
There you go. Yeah, sure.
Miss my mom coming out to join us on grandkid days. So, you know, some things like that. My mom at 85, she's missing out on those days that she can't have back, you know, and that's sad, you know. We take the grandkids there and sit in the driveway and visit where it's safe, but things like that are changed.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head. I mean, things that we maybe once took for granted, we can never again. I mean, given these circumstances.
Yep, the 100-year pandemic really did happen.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll get through as we have other times.
Yeah, no, we will. But you know, good on you, surrounding yourself with family. You know, that's certainly a great approach to just maintaining, you know, emotional well-being through this all. And
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And at 40 years of working at home, you and your wife could write the book on remote work here.
1980, I went full time.
Man alive, good for you.
We were just married, 2 babies, and a house payment. We made it.
Yeah.
The audacity of youth.
Yes. Well, you know what? The audacity of artists. I mean, I think that bold approach is reflected, you know, amongst your artist community for sure.
I think the survivors are diligent, you know, and we're hard workers. We're going to make it work.
Absolutely.
We've never had so-called starving artist days ever.
Well, that's a blessing.
So, yeah.
That is a good thing. Well, speaking of hard work, it would seem to me that an art and action style event, a quick draw, quick finish, would be hard work. I mean, you're trying to complete a piece of art while you're having conversations with patrons and folks, you know, there to see art and bid on art. As an artist, what draws you to that type of event? Why do you enjoy participating in Art in Action, other quick draw, quick finish efforts?
I only do that for the Russell Museum, and what draws me to it is the ability to donate to the museum. I can donate more art than I can money. It eliminates the marketing effort. The marketing is taken care of. Regarding the experience, it's intense. I've been doing it for years and years and years, and it's nerve-wracking. It's intense, but I kind of thrive on that too. You know, it's a challenge, and I see how much the people enjoy the process. And uh, um, it's bottom line though, it is an event that has helped the museum. You know, 100% of the donation has gone to the museum. Um, People know, the bidders know that when they buy these pieces, and they bid it up, and it's just really exciting for all of us. So that's been my motivation.
Well, gosh, we
Not
greatly
so much for
appreciate
the
that.
fun of it.
Well, I got to say then that adds truly that adds another layer of just the meaning and the graciousness that you extend us and your support as an artist, and then how that in turn has benefited us over the years through Art in Action. So thank you, Randy.
Well, it's an important museum. It's cultural. It's important to all of us, to future generations, and it's one of my missions, as it is yours. So it's a team effort,
Well,
a family
it
effort.
is indeed. It is indeed, and we're one big Western art community. That's right.
It is. It is.
Well, Randy, what are you working on right now? What kind of has your attention as an artist these days?
Um, the usual subjects that I've been working on the last 5 to 10 years. I am revisiting wildlife. I used to paint in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, early 2000. I painted more wildlife in wilderness settings. And I've been doing more of that, which I really enjoy. And also landscapes, rural landscapes. But most of my work is the history of the American West, the native encampment scenes. Just fascinate me for quite a few reasons. One, it's such a recent history. It was not that long ago. These people were living primitive, and they didn't just survive; they thrived. They thrived in the harsh elements, the heat, the blizzards. They were comfortable, and I love visiting the known encampment scenes, the historical sites. I love painting on location throughout the West to capture the landscape aspect of the settings that the natives would pass through, following buffalo, or up at Alpine hunting sheep and goat in the summer months. I love those settings. Part of my inspiration is obviously the national parks, the beauty of the West. I could live just about anywhere in the West. I guess first choice would be Montana. I just love Montana. I love the parks. I love the open space. I visit Montana a few times a year. It's almost a second home. So, and it's a fascinating history in Montana. And those are the moments I try to recreate. The landscape, the color of the sun, the color of the seasons has not changed over eons. So I incorporate the historical photographs, the historical literature into my current landscape paintings. And I tend to, with wildlife and the encampment scenes, I'm not close up to the focal point. I like to stand back and keep the viewer back a bit of a distance, so that the encampment scene or the wildlife is part of the landscape. In some cases, you only see them up on a second glance, but no, that's not true. They would always be the focal point, and the entire composition is leading to that focal point, but it's part of the landscape. It's not, you're not in the camp.
Well, no, that makes good sense. And I got to say, having seen a number of your pieces over the last few years, I mean, you're someone who is intimate to Montana. I mean, I think most people would assume you probably live here because you capture some just details and nuances that people aren't going to understand unless they've spent time here watching the sun, watching the sky, watching how, the topography reacts to the light. I particularly know that the piece that you have in the Russell exhibition and its sale this year, Square Butte in the background. I mean, if you can feel the temperature outside when looking at your piece. So you clearly have spent a great deal of time out and amongst the West. Do you find when you're producing a piece that you're always going to experience something, and that experience kind of creates that inspiration, or how do you kind of come towards your idea?
Um, you nailed it. The inspiration comes from being there.
Okay.
I I have always felt I need to know the subject intimately to paint it. Beyond traveling through an area as a tourist, taking pictures, we've traveled East Coast, we've traveled Europe numerous times. I'll come back with 1,000 photographs. I've only painted one European scene because I don't know it intimately. The subjects I paint, I've been to many times through different seasons, different time of day, sunrise, sunset. And yeah, I can tell artists that know their subject intimately, or those chasing a market. You know, a certain subject is hot for a while, so artists are following that. I paint what I know, I paint what I love, and somehow that does communicate. And my favorite compliment is when someone says they can sense the temperature, the moisture in the air, the sense of distance. So it all starts with my being there, photographing, but also painting on location, plein air. I have my compact travel kit. Most of my large paintings are based on a small plein air study, along with many, many photographs of that same day, that same trip.
Well, you know, that's I appreciate the fact that you've seen so many different angles of one location, because then, you know, if your piece evolves, you understand how you can then be true to the environment and to
Exactly.
the area you're looking at. And no, that makes great sense, Randy. Well, you know, I tell you, we've always appreciated your involvement with the C.M. Russell Museum. You're such a great friend of the museum. Thank you for your participation in this artist showcase, and as well, your longtime support for Art in Action.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, excellent. Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning in to this edition of the Artist Showcase. We want to thank once again D.A. Davidson Companies for their support of Art in Action and of all education programming at the C.M. Russell Museum. We also want to recognize another sponsor, the State Bridge Suites here in Great Falls, who have sponsored Randy Van Beek, and their sponsorship once again impacts the C.M. Russell Museum. So thank you all.
Yes,
once again,
thank you all.
yes, indeed. Thanks for your time, Randy, and I hope everyone stays well. We're out here. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day, Tom.
Thank you.
Goodbye.